You know what the Famicom really needed? Another baseball game franchise with yearly releases. I will give Best Play Pro Yakyuu this, though. It is unlike any of the other baseball games we've seen so far. Right off the bat, though, I have a bit of a problem. What is the title of this game? The logo is written in English as the Best Play Baseball Special. There's smaller text that identifies it as Best Play Pro Yakyuu. The title screen that only shows up when you turn on the power has it as Best Play Pro Yakyuu, while the main menu, which is what you go to when you hit reset, just says Best Play Baseball. Here I'll defer to Japanese sources, which seem to be pretty consistent in calling it Best Play Pro Yakyuu. There's another problem with the game, though. When the game was initially released, it was impacted by a shortage. There weren't enough copies to go around in that initial shipment, and so when they did the next round of cartridges, ASCII updated all of the player stats. They put a sticker on the box, and changed the label to read Best Play Pro Yakyuu Shin Data. As a result, some people consider that cartridge to be essentially version 1.1 of the game, and don't count it as a separate release. From where I'm sitting, it had a different label, had a distinct release date, so I'm counting it as a sequel, even though it only comes out 3 months after this. I also had a real devil of a time getting this cartridge. The first 2 times I ordered this specific version, I was sent the Shin Data game. At least I wasn't paying more than $2 a copy. To understand what Best Play Pro Yakyuu is, you need to understand sports games a little bit. There's basically 2 kinds of sports games. The far more popular type are the ones that replicate the action of the sport. That means how good you are at hitting those buttons determines how well you perform in the game. Every sports game we've seen on the Famicom so far has been one of those. Even the games that have stats for their players, like the Family Stadium series, really come down to how well the player's hitting the button to time their swing. The other type of sports game that's far less common are the statistical simulators. These predate video games by quite a bit. The idea here is that the person playing the game is the coach of the team, rather than the individual players. And a big feature of that is that success and failure is heavily dependent on the statistics. This left-handed pitcher is particularly good against right-handed batters, for example. And that's what Best Play Pro Yakyuu is. You have a bunch of team statistics, you can build your own league, and then you mainly watch the game play out. As the coach, you do have some minor control. You can tell pitchers what you'd like them to throw, tell batters if you want them to bunt, or tell people on base if you want them to steal. You can also switch out the pitchers, and if you have the designated hitter rule on for your league, you can switch out the batter. And that's all the control you have during a game. Between games, you can also change your lineup and alter your batting order, but there's no trading between teams or acquiring new players. Who you have at the beginning is who you have for your 131 game season. I found that the way it displays player stats to be especially confusing. As you might have guessed, this statistics-heavy game originated on computers, though from this point on it really becomes a console game series. Unfortunately, they really need to rework the interface for console players, and I don't think they've done that. It's tough to play Best Play Pro Yakyuu, and I don't think they intended for the menus to be this hard to navigate. These days, baseball stats nerds have much better options if they want to simulate the 1987 Japan League. And so Best Play Pro Yakyuu is really just a historical curiosity. The first time that somebody brought a statistics-based baseball game to a console. Being first doesn't mean that it was good, though, and I feel like the limitations of the Famicom put a cap on what they could do with Best Play Pro Yakyuu. This is a game that nobody bothers going back to revisit.